Today we're going to talk about what I think is one of the most underutilized strategies right now on Amazon, and this is A/B testing your listings so you can really optimize them. So, as Amazon starts to get a little bit more competitive and as there's more people enter the marketplace, the listings that are really optimized, doing really well, they're the guys that are like put in the extra time, testing different headlines and copy and price and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, today we're going to go over some of these tactics that we're using and we're seeing people use who are doing a really good job. And yeah, hopefully by the end of it, you guys will know exactly what you need to really optimize your listings. So we're going to start with a fun game. Yes. What we've done, this is cool, guys. What we've done is we've put together some images, and I want you guys to guess a few different scenarios, a few different A/B testing scenarios. I want you guys to guess which one did better, all right? So I'm starting the poll right now. This is the first time I've tried a poll, so hopefully it works, but I think you should be able to see it over near the chat box. And right now I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'm going to show you a few of the pictures. So all right. So this is the first one, and what we're trying to guess is which one of these products gets either more sessions or at the end of the day makes more sales. All right. So keep in mind these are very similar to tests that someone's run on Splitly so far. Obviously to protect their privacy, these aren't the exact products, but we found very similar scenarios. Okay, so like essentially this person was testing just showing their product compared to showing their product with the packaging. All right, so these are your two choices. Variation A says the product with the packaging, or variation B without it. So go ahead and drop it in the poll. I'm curious to see what you guys said. So all right, it looks like it's about 65% thinks the smaller photo including the packaging. All right, so we're going to go ahead and end that one. We're going to do
your vote too and your rationale.
You want to hear my vote again?
Let's put it on the record.
All right. My vote for this one would be the product with the packaging. That if I can cheat a little bit here because I know the answers, but if I had to just go with my gut feeling from this, which one I think would be better, I personally would think that showing your product packaging in there, it just kind of like looks like there's more included. It was like some high-end packaging, so that's what I would guess does a little bit better.
Can you just show them one more time?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna start this poll right here, Andy, and then I'll pull both of them up. So the second one, option A is with sale price, and option B is without sale price. So that one's starting. You should see it there, and I am going to show you the pictures again. So this is the last one. One was with the packaging, so 65% of people think this one does better. So now let's look at this one. So this one, in here, there is the price. So as you can see, this one just has the price. It's $23.74. This one over here, they did a sale price. So if I look at this, it just says $23.74, and then real small, it has $24.99 crossed out. Well, here it has $49.95 crossed out, and very big here is $21.50 as the sale price. So put your guess in there. Let me know what you think, and then while you're doing that, I'll go ahead and show you the last one. So this one isn't the main image, okay? This is just one of their additional images, okay? So they swapped out, and like I said, this isn't someone's real product. We just use something. We use like a similar scenario to protect their privacy. But one would have been like their product in use, and the other one would have been. Now keep in mind, this isn't. I didn't say the main image here. Just another one. Was like showing some features of it. So you can guess that one as well. So real quickly, I'll just pop back. Let's see what the. All right, so with sale price is 90%, so pretty high on that. And then I'll let you guys just guess the last one to keep it to yourself. And then, yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the results here, and then we can kind of talk about why we think that it did so. So the winners are the larger product with no packaging. So this improved the daily profit by 45%. So this was only, let's see, 35% of the crowd thought that this one would win. The other 65% thought the other one would win. This particular product actually, without having a sales price, did better. So the conversion rate improved roughly 20%. And these are all statistically significant information. So these were run long enough that we could draw statistical significance. And the last one, the infographic, did better than the lifestyle photo, and it improved sales by about 20% again. So I think this is kind of fun. You know, I like doing like little games like this, but what's pretty interesting is a lot of times you don't really know what's going to do better until you test it. You know, like what works for like one category and one style of product might not work for the other one, and so forth. So at the end of the day, like, you know, through this webinar, we're going to give you some tips of things we think you can test, but at the end of the day, you don't really know for sure until you run the actual test, which is the takeaway. You don't know until you get the actual data. And again, you know, like these products that we see that are doing really well now, these are like the ones that are optimized. If you looked at them, like each week they'll be testing different images, different prices, whatever. These are, and we kind of talk about this more at the end, but these like incremental gains, improving like a few percent by doing this, improving by a few more percent doing that. As a result, you're making more organic sales, and because you're having more organic sales, then you're ranked a little bit higher, and all these things just have like a snowball effect. And then at the end of it is that it improves quite a bit. So, Andy, do you want to talk a little bit about what split testing is?
Sure, yeah. And just let me know if my video isn't in shape and I can turn it off. So, essentially, a lot of people might have been familiar with split testing if they had their own website or e-commerce store. What you want to do is, as your customers come to your site, you might have, let's say, a checkout button, and you want to see, is a green checkout button better or a blue checkout button better? And for every customer that comes to your website, you show them first the blue one, and then the next guy comes along and you show them the red one. And for each customer, you keep switching, and you keep on going until you have enough data to make a good decision as to which one performed better. So on Amazon, it's a little bit different. On Amazon, you can't stick software on the website itself. So instead, we've come up with a clever way where we just do what a human can do, and except we do it with our software. We update your listing every single day, and we make the changes at midnight Amazon time, and we gather the information from your business reports, and we do essentially the same thing, but we're updating every day as opposed to every customer.
So Andy, real quick, let's talk about, I know we'll probably talk about this more at the end also, but I think this is like a kind of a common misconception is like, you know, like, why can't I just try a new picture today, leave it there, and then I'll just see like, to see if my sales improve in like the next few weeks. If they do, then it was probably the image. If not, then I'll go back to the old image. Like, what have you found that's wrong with that idea and like trying to do that?
Well, I mean, essentially that would just be luck. So, and also a problem with that is that when you make a change on Amazon, you're in your mind, whatever happens in the next few days, you immediately associate with that change. It's just human nature. So if your sales go up or down, even from you changing an image, you say, oh, it's because you changed that image. But of course, it could just be pure luck. You don't know. And if you test it over, let's say you have the patience and you leave it for 2 weeks, and then you try another image for 2 weeks, that's still just luck. Because if you think about it, from month to month, from week to week, if you don't even make any changes at all, you can see that you're going to have 1 week better than another. So it's just luck. The only way to make sure that it's not is if you change it regularly, and that'll even out all those random errors that are going on over time. and then you add up all those all the data for each day, and then you'll get what we call statistical significance, which is how confident we can be that you have that your winning variant is the correct one.
Right. So, and I'm sure like anyone that's on this webinar that has been like kind of in the Amazon space for a while. I'm sure you know this firsthand that like sales from day to day or week to week can vary so much. Whether it's like a seasonal thing or just because it can even be like related to like the weather, like it's rainy in half of the state, so people are like more likely to be inside and shopping online that day. So like there's so many little variations that there's no way of really knowing if you like just switch something for a week and test it and see if it improved a little bit, whether that was the change that made it or not. So, by now, Andy and I, a bunch of our friends, some other people using Splitly, have been able to run a whole bunch of tests. And from this, we've kind of been able to gather that a few types of tests seem to have the highest impact, or like the lowest hanging fruit. Changing something like the order of your bullet points, we've seen not really make any significant difference like on Amazon. But these two items we're going to go over here, these are the things that like tend to really move the needle and like can result in some really big improvements to your listing. So the first one is changing your price. And a lot of you can probably guess this, but a lot of people don't think of it as like the first thing to test. And there's two different types of price tests you can do. I think like one would be a larger change, like increasing your product price by a few dollars or decreasing it by a few dollars. The other one is you can also try testing like kind of the decimal places here. So instead of ending in 99 cents, you could try 88 or 97 or 93 or whatever. And we've seen both of these to make a difference.
Yeah, I'd just like to just to add in there. When you're doing your first test, you definitely want to do the bigger price difference, because you don't know where your price is at. And then once you have your result from that, then you can start choosing the smaller price differences, the smaller just to get exactly where you want to be.
Yep, and I agree. And then we have like a few recommendations for you guys if you want, like if you're thinking about like where should I start, which test should I do first. If you're in a highly competitive niche, I would say try smaller incremental changes. So try like increasing it, by like 50 cents or $1 or whatever, and see how that goes. So you can either try increasing or decreasing your price. A lot of times, like an increase in price may result in less sales or less conversions each day. However, at the end of the day, if you're making more profit from it, I think that's what most people on here are after. If you're in like more of a low competitive, or if you have like a differentiated or improved product, I think most of what we've seen, users are pretty surprised by how often like Amazon customers can sometimes not be very price sensitive. So like if your product is certainly improved, it's getting 4.5 and 5-star reviews where your competitors are getting like 3.5 or 4. A lot of times consumers on Amazon are willing to spend a few more dollars on that product that gets like a little bit better reviews. So if you do have a better product and you do have higher reviews than your competitors, I would recommend testing to increase your price by a few dollars, and a lot of times I think you'd be surprised. Just to get started, everyone will know your particular niche a lot better than we will. But you can kind of look around, see what your competitors are doing, see how your product stacks up against them, and then try to run a particular test accordingly. And like I said, a lot of times people think like right away want to think, oh, well, let me try to decrease my price. Like everyone's always has the idea like, oh, if I have a cheaper price will get more sales. But a lot of times, like I would recommend the first test, like increasing your price a little bit and see how that does. So yeah, from what we've seen, the other really high impact test or really low hanging fruit is to change your main feature image. And again, this is probably not like a huge surprise to a lot of you, but between this and the price, they're definitely like the two best things to test, and they're usually the two things that can bring like the biggest results to people. So we recommend testing these, before you try to test your title or your keywords or anything else. So yeah, let's look at, just to kind of give you guys some ideas. You might think like, okay, like this is my type of product, but like what other like image should I test, or to like help you guys get some ideas of what kind of image you want to test. If your product has multiple pieces, or it's like a bundle of multiple items, try taking the items and kind of spreading them out throughout the image. So this first one over here, it's just like the balls packed in the bag. But instead, if you were to show an image of the balls outside of the bag, a lot of times we'll see these can do better, or if not, it's at least something that you'd want to be testing. This would be another good example of like a bundled item or item with lots of parts. This one over here on the left, it's just showing the case, and this is like the same product. So this one's the case. It has all this stuff in it. But instead, this second one, for the main image, shows all the different pieces scattered out. And I think this one has like a lot higher like perceived value. Like when a customer sees this, they're like, holy cow, there's a lot of stuff in there. It seems like I'm getting a lot for my money. So this would be another like good type of image for you to test if your item has multiple pieces. And this is another one that like I really like these types of tests. So what this is, according to Amazon's terms of service, it says something along the lines of minimal propping is okay as long as it doesn't confuse the customer. So it's something along those lines. And what I take out of this is, you're not allowed to show your product with any, especially, and we're talking about just the main image here. You're not allowed to show your product like on anything that would deceive the customer, like make them believe that that's included with their product. So this is a really good one that I think is totally by Amazon's terms of service. I think this is minimal propping, and I don't think it confuses the customer. But I just found these are like two competitors on Amazon. This is, again, like the same product. These are both headbands. But this top one, it's like, what am I even really looking at here? Like, these are just squares on a white background. Like, I don't know what those are. Whereas this one down here, it's on a mannequin. It's like, okay, like right away I know that's a headband. It looks pretty like cool and kind of like a stylish headband, So again, like if you have some of these clothing items or something that you feel like you can like bring to life, these would be really good split tests to run. And this is another good one. Something like this one down here on the bottom left, this wouldn't be allowed for your main image, but it's still kind of like get those creative juices flowing, is you can show diagrams to like people get an idea of like how big or how small or whatever else a product is. So this particular one on the bottom left, this is my bamboo marshmallow sticks. One of the main things about these marshmallow sticks is they are 3 feet long, which is really long. Like most people see the first image and they think like, okay, these are just like small bamboo skewers like you would cook like kebabs on, but it's like, no, these things are 3 feet long. So something we did is we showed it next to a shadow of a person to really emphasize that these things are long. This is, that like standing next to a human, it's like almost up to their chest. So yeah, again, like something else, just kind of like get the creative juices flowing, or like think about different types of images that you can test. This is something, again, these are our bamboo marshmallow sticks, and where our competitors just kind of have like these boring, pretty like bland type images of just the bamboo sticks inside the packaging. Instead, we're showing this one, which is pretty like visually appealing. It's kind of like interesting to look at. It draws your eye towards it. So again, this would be another good example of like something, if you just have like a boring product image of just the packaging, this would be like another good type of image to test. The thing about it, it's not always going to do better, but that's the whole purpose of testing it, right? Like sometimes you'll be really surprised. It's like, wow, like that's getting way more clicks. Other times it's like, well, maybe that one did it like a little bit worse, but that's the beauty of being able to test it. Andy, you want to talk about the statistical significance a little bit?
Sure, yeah. So, I mean, this is, to make it the simplest, to explain it the simplest way, it represents how confident you can be that your winner is the correct one. So, it's a maths calculation where we gather up all the data that we have, and we give you a percentage of how confident we are that the variant is the correct one. And it depends on two things, essentially, and on how much data we can get and also how different you make your variance. So if you do a large price difference, let's say you have one which is $15 and the other one which is $19, you're probably going to get your test results quicker here. The difference between the two variants is so high. So it's better. That being said, for example, if you had, let's say, 3 variants or 4 variants, then it's going to take longer again. So it's better to actually just test one thing at a time. So if you have test 2 prices or test 2 main images, that way you can get your results quicker. We always recommend starting with the price test because that actually gives you your biggest, what I would say, like your biggest bang for your buck. It always produces a significant result. So that's why we recommend starting with pricing. And then once you're happy with that, then moving on to the rest of your listing. And on the 4th point here, yeah, we switch at midnight to. Well, I think we already covered this part, right?
Yeah, it's probably worth emphasizing again. And this is also something that we should emphasize to people if they want to try to run split tests on themselves. You just want to kind of talk about, because I think this is often confuses people. Do you want to talk about real quick why this is so important?
Yeah. So if you have to do it at midnight at Amazon time. That's Pacific daylight time. And the reason for this is Amazon gives the data on a 24-hour period. So if you check in your business reports, and the report is called Detailed Sales and Traffic by ASIN, that report is done on each day. So if you don't make the update at midnight, you will basically get the data from one variant coming into the next variant, and it'll just ruin your whole test. So you have to make that change at that time. And then you have to do it as frequently as possible, which is each day in this case. Otherwise, again, you're going to have the seasonal changes coming in, other random effects coming in. So it's very important to get those 2 things right.
All right. Excellent. So real quick, I was thinking about we would take a few questions in the chat box. I was sharing my screen so I couldn't see them, but I'm sure we have some in there. Let's see here. Did you guys have a few picked out? That would be good to answer before we go into kind of like the Splitly demo.
Yeah, there was quite a few coming through now at the moment. Hold on a sec.
So a quick one is midnight which time zone in its Pacific time, so Seattle time, I guess where Amazon's headquarters are. Where can we include text or words on the images? So according to Amazon's terms of service, they specifically say in the main image, this is the image that shows up on the search results page, that there you cannot have any like text or badges or whatever else have you. On the other images, it's my understanding or my interpretation of the terms of service that you can have them there. So keep that in mind. So not on the main image. On the main image, it just needs to be a totally white background with just the product on it. And then your other images, they give you a little bit more leeway of what you can include in there. So like your other images can also be like lifestyle photos, which would be like someone like demonstrating or using your product, whereas the main image needs to be just the product, and then the terminology they use is like minimal propping is okay if it doesn't confuse the customer, something along those lines. Andy, I think Frank right here has a good question about 2 weeks seems arbitrary. Do you want to talk about real quick why we recommend a minimum of 2 weeks?
So yeah, so we get often the test will be longer than 2 weeks. We give 2 weeks as a minimum in order, because 2 weeks is a minimum if you have 2 variants. So if you're testing, let's say, 2 main images, and this way each of your variants will get at least 1 day of the week. So some people might notice that their Sunday is a very good day or Friday is a very good day, and at least this way each of those will get that day. But in general, if it depends on what you're changing. If you had a very big price change, you might get your results in 2 weeks. But if you just change something small, then you would expect to have the test run longer than that.
Excellent. I see 2 good questions here that I can answer real quick. Do we need to run Amazon ads to test the split testing? The answer to this is no. You don't need to be running Amazon PPC or sponsored ads. However, if you are, it's perfectly fine. So it accounts for how many sessions you get that day and so forth. And then usually when people are running pay-per-click, it's a campaign they turn on and kind of stay pretty consistent with it. So it's perfectly fine if you are running PPC. If you're not, don't worry about it. You don't need to be. And the other one I saw here is, does it adjust for lightning deals or promotions? Inside of Splitly, you can avoid certain days of results if that day, say like you gave away 20 units as a promotion and there was a lightning deal or whatever else. So it's just with one click of a button, it removes the results from that day, so you still have accurate information.
You can also, if you like, you can also pause your test if in advance of that, and then resume it once you're finished.
All right, excellent. Here's Andy, do you want to answer this one? James asks, can you test two variances at the same time, like price and images? So I guess give him the answer of what you can do and what you would recommend.
You can do whatever you want, yeah. So you could do that, but in this instance, the best thing to do is just to test one and then test the other. There's two reasons for this. One is, if you were just to create two variants and you were to mix the price and the main image, then you wouldn't know what caused the effect. Was it your image that gave you a better conversion rate, or was it your price that gave you a better conversion rate? And the other way you could set that test up is you could have 4 variants, so two prices and 2 images. But then the problem is you're going to have to wait that bit longer to get your test results. So you're better off just doing one, and then when your test is finished, doing the next one.
All right, excellent. So yeah, I think that's most of the questions I kind of saw in here, and of course we can answer more at the end too. I just want to take a quick break there. So real quick, we've kind of like up to this point gone over like some good tests that we think are good for you to run. Talked about the best practices and so forth. So now we're going to talk about Splitly a little bit. So Splitly is a software tool that automates this whole process for you. So it is possible to try to like remember to do this each day and keep an Excel sheet and all this kind of stuff to try to like run these split tests yourself. But what we found, especially Andy, when back in the day, I think this was like the pain point that led him to create Splitly, is more often than not, you forget one day, then your results get messed up, and complications can be difficult for the statistical significance and so forth. So that's kind of how Splitly was born. So Splitly runs all this automatically for you. So like within 5 minutes, you can sync up your MWS account. You can choose what you want to test, like choose the price, enter the different price or whatever, and within a few minutes you can click go, and Splitly will automatically run the test for you, and it'll email you in a couple weeks when it has a winner for you. And then after that, you can try something else. Kind of as we talked about, these little incremental small improvements can really be like very significant over time. So real quick, we'll just kind of talk a little bit more, or I'll show you some visuals here of Splitly. And yeah, we can chat a little more about it, and of course answer any questions that people have. So, all right. So inside of, and we'll show you inside the app too, but inside of Splitly, like I said, it's automatically running these tests for you. So you don't have to remember to like go in there and change it or anything. It just automatically does this every day. Whatever you want to change, it changes your listing for you, and then gives you all this crucial information that you need to know to say like, okay, is this like a change I want to keep, or is it one that didn't work out? Do you want to talk about the rotation log and what we're looking at here, Andy?
So what we're looking at there is just a summary of all the metrics that we're calculating. So someone there just asked, do we just base it off sales? No, we calculate sessions, which is how many people are visiting your listing, and sales, and then profit, which if you're doing a price test and you're changing your price, we will factor that into it. And then in order to calculate conversion rate, it is simply the number of sales divided by your sessions.
All right, excellent. So this is actually, so we've obviously been split testing our jungle stick. So for those of you who are familiar with our webinars, back in November, December, I forget exactly when, we launched these bamboo marshmallow sticks. We did a case study where we like sourced them and launched them and everything together. They've been up for sale since the end of last year. let's see, in the first 6 months, I think you can look at our blog to find all this information, but we did like 60,000 in sales and a bunch in profit. And so right away, with Splitly, it's like, okay, let's start split testing the marshmallow sticks. So if you go on Amazon right now, you'll see that they're no longer priced at $19.88. They're priced at $21.88. And this kind of like amazed me and frustrated me a little bit at the same time, because by increasing it $2, I forget the exact, let's see, we can find out right here. But so I went, when we were running this test, from profiting $127.51 to like $164. So that's like, it's about $40 a day, which would be like $1,200 a month. So if you factor that over the course of an entire year, we're talking like $10,000 or $15,000 in lost profit. So it's one of those things I was like kicking myself, like, wow, I can't believe we didn't, test this earlier. So like with this particular test, increasing my price from $19.88 to $21.88, actually my daily sales decreased a little bit. So I was averaging 25 a day. With the increase in price, I only averaged 24 a day. However, my profit, since I was making $2 extra profit each one, my profit increased. So for me, it was a no-brainer to go ahead and just switch it from the $19.88 to the $21.88. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So this is, inside of the Splitly dashboard. It's very easy to use. You can set up a test in a few minutes, and then this is what it will look like after you get some test data in there. So it shows you how many daily sessions you had, daily sales, comparing both variations, your conversion rate, and then most importantly, my favorite box, your average daily profit. And then if you're really kind of like a data nerd like me, you can dig into the all the numbers right here of how much you were averaging before and after, and then it even gives you a rotation log of each day, which one was running, how much money you made, how many sales you had, and so forth. So it's pretty cool stuff. What am I forgetting about this, Andy?
Yeah, sorry, I was just reading some of the questions there. I didn't catch the last thing you said.
So I was just saying, what else am I forgetting that the audience needs to know?
Yeah, well, just so someone there just said in the chat, they were asking, do they actually need to do the updates themselves? And just to point out that it's fully automated. Splitly is what does it, and it's done through. It doesn't log into your Seller Central account. We use Amazon's MWS API. This is something that Amazon allows third-party web applications to update your listings.
Yeah, so just to kind of reiterate on that, after you set up the test with Splitly, there's nothing else you need to do. It automatically does it. So, Amazon has this application interface that we can use, so we can send, after you give it permission to do so, we can send the changes to your specific account. We make the changes on the everyday interval for you, and then we just show you all the data and everything you need to know to make the educated decisions after that. So yeah, what other do we have more questions that are kind of relevant to what we're talking about right now, Andy?
Yeah. Sorry, hold on a sec. Just Jonathan's asking there about a walkthrough to set up the test. If you go to the website, and you can also check out on YouTube, you can search for Splitly on YouTube. You will see instructional videos on how to do everything. So that's very useful if you want to check that out.
And I can share my screen real quick. We can just we'll just go kind of do like a 1-minute overview of I'll just kind of show you how easy it is to get one of these tests set up. So all right. So I'm inside Splitly here. I click to my products. This is synced up with my Bamboo Marshmallow Stick account. So right here I can click on Create Test, and up here there's a video. If you ever need to kind of relearn how to do this, but this is what we'll see. All right, so this is how you create the test. So I can name it. So maybe I want to do a main image test. All right, statistical significance. I'm going to keep it at 90%. So this means that would be 90% sure, or the test would end when you're 90% sure that it was your changes that made, or the variance that you rotated is what made like the change in sales or whatever my goal is. So I can set my goal for conversion rate, profit, or sessions. Sessions would just be how many times people click on your listing. So we'll do profit. this is how much my unit costs. I think it's actually $3.90. Then Split automatically calculates your different fees for you. And then down here, this is everything about my listing. So you see all my images, you see the prices, the title. These are my feature points, the product description. So I can change any of this stuff. So let's see what I say. I was going to do a main image test. So this is going to be the original. And then we'll call this one X image. All right. So then over here, you know, I could do this X image as my main image. So I just dragged it. Now it's my main image. And yeah, for that, if that's what I want to test, this would be all I needed to do. So I'd go down here, I would save the test, and then I would start running it. And that's literally all you have to do. So like I said, within like a few minutes, you can sync up your account. You can create the test like that, hit go, and then Splitly takes care of everything. Like I said, it'll email you when it finds which one wins in a few weeks for you. That's it.
Jay Captain there is just asking how does it calculate the profit? So we grab the FBA fees and the Amazon referral fee, and if you just add in your unit cost and shipping costs, basically everything that's not related to Amazon, we can figure out what the profit is for you.
Yep. I see another good question here. It says, will my current email system be affected since it also runs an MWS? And the answer to that is no. You can have multiple third-party applications linked up to your MWS account, and it's no problem. I know I personally have ReviewKick and Splitly and Forecastly and all kinds of stuff linked up to my account, and it's perfectly fine. It works good. So no worries there. Levy asked the question, how long after giveaways or promos would you recommend they wait until they start testing? What do you think, Andy?
If you're talking about like a lightning deal, which is giving a large blast on a single day, then you just need to wait until that is worn off. So I mean, it depends. That could just be a day or two. But if you're just talking about general promotions, then you can run split tests while that's going on. As long as the effect of the promotion is spread out over the days, then it doesn't matter because each variant will get affected the same.
I think I might not have read the whole question. I think what they're maybe referring to is like if I was initially launching a product. So if I'm launching my Bamboo Marshmallow 6 today and I give away 20 units today and for the next few days just to get some initial reviews and my initial promotion, I would probably just start the split test like I would say like 2 days or like a day or two after that ended, and that would be fine. After that, it wouldn't be a problem. So if you are just doing like an initial like large giveaway, that'd be something to wait till it was done and then start the test. Here's a good question. How many, Andy, would you say you need to be selling each day to either for Splitly to be effective, or how many, and I know there's lots of variations that go into this, but what would you say how many you need to be selling a day for to be able to come up with a result in 2 weeks?
Okay, so it really depends on two factors. It's hard to answer that question because one of the biggest factors in how quickly you can get a result is how big of a change you make. So if you're, I mean, again, I'll use the price example. If you're testing something at $15 again versus $20, it's very likely that one of those is going to do a lot better than the other one. And then even with a very small amount of data, you can actually get an answer very quickly.
Yeah.
So on the flip side, if you have a lot of data, then even if you're testing something small, you can still get an answer back because we can figure out very quickly from how much data you have what's going on.
And then just to give you like a little bit of insight there, with the Jungle Sticks, when I did the price test from 1988 to 2188, I think I was selling like 25 units a day. And I'm pretty sure that actually gave me, with like 80 or 85% statistical significance within, I want to say like 2 weeks. So that gives you like a little bit of an idea. But like Andy said, there's so many like variations that go into it. It's like you really just have to get it started and check on it. Sheila asked, can you pause Splitly if you run out of product, Andy?
Yeah, absolutely. You can pause the test anytime you want, and you can resume it when you're ready to go again. No problem.
Cool. So I see there's a few people in here asking about pricing and so forth. So let me go ahead and share the last slide with you here because we did put together, if you do want to try this, we put together a discount for you guys, so you get half off the first month. And this is the link for it, and I'm sure Andy or someone can post that in the chat box, but it's splitly.com/JS. We normally don't give discounts, so this is only going to be good for 2 days. So, or sorry, until 8/12 at midnight. So you have a few days to do it. And yeah, they'll give you 50% off your first month. So for just like $25, you can get some split tests going. You can run a few at the same time. So if you have a few products, you can run it on a few products at the same time. And I can pretty much guarantee, which is a very strong word, that if you do run a few split tests for a month, that you should easily be able to find something that improves your sales or your profit by more than like the $25 you spend on it. So that's my little guarantee for you. And I'm gonna type this in the chat box since I took away my share screen. And then yeah, if anyone else has any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. Let's see here. I think that should be at the top of the screen. There we go. Martha put in there also. Alex asked, does it only work on Amazon or does it work on your own website? So no, Splitly is specifically for Amazon. It's optimized for Amazon, and that's what it works for. So it doesn't work for your own site. There's other tools that do that. Splitly is the only one that works for Amazon, and that's what it's designed and built for. I see a few people, Andy, asking me about the European stores. What do you have to tell them?
Yeah, myself and James are working on it. We're trying to just get everything. We still have some features ready for the site as well, so it's a balancing act between that and when we're going to be ready for Europe. And hopefully it will be next month because there's a European summit. So that's our goal, our target time frame at the moment. So
yeah, if you're selling in Europe, you'll have to check back in a few weeks. Or the other good thing to do if you want to be notified of that is you can just go to the homepage on Splitly. If you enter your email in the box in the bottom right, we'll make sure to notify our entire email list when that gets released for the European market. So that way you'll be sure to be notified. And let's see, we still have quite a few questions in here. Awesome, great, so much. Thanks so much is what we're looking for. Some fantastic feedback. You want to? I see there's a few. We kind of covered this a little bit, Andy, but I see there's a few more questions about sponsored ads and PPC on Amazon. Do you just want to go over that one more time? You can probably do a better job explaining it than I did.
Yeah. So essentially, what you want don't want to do something which is going to cause one of your variants to beat the other one, because that's the whole purpose of a split test. What you're trying to do is find which one is better. So if you do something that will cause one to be better against the other, then it's a problem. So something that would do that is if you did a lightning deal, because that's going to cause one specific day to outperform all the other ones. So in that instance, you want to just remove that day from the test. Either you could pause your test, or you can just click the void link, because we show every single day in our data section. But that being said, generally you're going to have something like just PPC, but that's okay, because that is spread evenly over both of your variants over time. So it doesn't matter. It won't cause a problem.
Excellent. All right. I see a question in here. What do you think about testing two variations of price at the same time? So you'd have your original, maybe you'd have plus $2 and minus $2. Andy, what would you recommend?
Having two. I would always just to have two variants going at the same time. Also, one thing you can do is you can, if you think you have the right price but you're not sure, then often what you can do is, rather than testing your current price with another price, you can test, let's say, $1 above your current price and $1 below your current price. So you don't have to always keep your original when you're setting up a split test.
All right. One question here: how many tests could I run on a product in a month? So the biggest kind of like mistake we see people make is ending tests too early. So like a lot of people will say like, oh, the first 4 days of results, it looked like this one was doing a lot better. It's like usually if you'll let the test run out, a lot of times you'll find something different. Maybe that variation wasn't better, the original is better, or whatever. So yeah, it's very important to run them for at least 2 weeks. If you're doing like quite a few sales, like 10 or 20 sales a day, and you make like a significant change, like the main image or a price change, a lot of times you can get good results in 2 weeks. So if that was the case, I guess you could run 2 tests in a month. If you're making very minor tweaks, it may take longer than 2 weeks to run a successful test that has statistical significance. Trevor asked, can you split test titles? And what about if Amazon has locked you out of editing it? So if you don't have permission to edit the your own the product title or the product image or whatever, we're not going to be able to either. So normally if you're a private label seller, which is what Split is kind of designed for, 99% of those people have the ability to edit everything on their product listing. So if so, it's going to work great for you. If it's like not your product and you don't have permission to edit the listing, then Split is not going to be able to edit the listing either.
I found also that with some customers, if you contact seller support, you can actually get your listing freed up again. So that's also worth a shot.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, let's see here. What questions have we missed here, Andy? Just looking through here. Which ones kind of we haven't covered yet? Lots about Europe. Image and besides image and price A/B testing, what other tests would you recommend? What would your answer to be to that, Andy? Besides the two lowest hanging fruit that we recommend, what in your opinion has the next like largest impact? We might have lost Andy's sound. I don't know. I can go ahead and answer this though. So besides the price and besides the main image, some things that we've seen people do that work pretty well are, so main image is the biggest one, but I'd recommend testing all your images. So that would be like that example we showed you where they added like the little info next to the image. Something like that works pretty well. You can try putting like in one of your bullet points that you offer like a money back guarantee. That works well. Let's see, what are some of the other ones? Adding more keywords to your title or changing your title to be something that might be more relevant or significant. That would be a good one to test. So there's all kinds of things that you can test. However, like we say, if you're just getting started, we really recommend the price or the main image, because like these are the things that just have the largest impact and are, is what could potentially increase your bottom line the most. So yeah, a few little things about a demo here. So we kind of showed it a little bit, but I'll go ahead and just like show it for you guys one more time what inside Splitly looks like. So this is inside my my dashboard here. My products, it will have all your products loaded in. So if you have, I just have one product in this account, my bamboo marshmallow sticks. If you have more, you'd see all of them here. To create a test, it's very simple. You just click Create Test. Here you're going to fill out the name. If you don't have a good idea about statistical significance or what have you, we'd recommend just leaving this at 90%. So this would be like you're 90% confident that the changes you made are what resulted in your goal. So you can choose either conversion rate, profit, or sessions. These are going to be the different things that you're testing for. And we're going to show you information for all of these. However, this is for your particular test how we'll decide whether it's a winner or not, whether it's 90% significant on conversion rate or 90% significant on increased sessions and so forth. After that, you enter your unit cost, and then down here it's simple. You just make a change. So if I wanted to change the price, maybe right here I'll just say 2188 instead of 1988. And then if I wanted to change my main image, I could just drag a different image, or I can upload another one. So maybe I want to try this one for my main image. I would drag it there, and that's about it. You can name them up here. So this one, let's see, it'd be different main image. This one over here is my original. And then I can review this, and it'll show me which differences I'm making. So it will say, whoops, I left my test name blank. Main image test. Let's review the differences here. And it will highlight in yellow what you've changed. So for this particular one, since I changed the main image, the order of all 4 of these are changed. That's why they're highlighted in yellow. But if it was the price that I had changed, it would highlight my price in yellow and so forth. So after that, all you have to do is save the test and start it. And then after doing so, Splitly is going to take care of the rest for you, okay? So after you do that, you don't have to log into your account to like check or make any changes or what have you. The best thing to do is just to start it and let it run. And then after, like after a week, you'll start having some data. After 2 weeks, the test might be able to finish or might be still running. And then that's when you're going to see something like this. So there's going to be graphs of how your old price or your original compared to your variant. This is number of sessions. This is how many daily sales I made in unit sales. This is my conversion rate. So my conversion rate for this price increase actually went down a little bit, but at the end of the day, I was making more money because I get $2 extra for every sale I make. So yeah, that's the main gist of it. I guess if you were joining us at the end, you didn't get to see kind of the first demo. All right. So
Ruth is just asking there, can you test back-end keywords? And that is something that's definitely in the pipeline. So again, we will send out an email to everyone when that feature is ready.
Excellent. One more question I'll answer here. We try to keep these under an hour, so not to bore you guys too much. So we'll answer a couple more questions here, and then we'll kind of wrap things up. One more question I get here is, are you allowed to add logos to the main image? According to Amazon's terms of service, you can't have badges or logos or whatever else in your main image. So your main image is the one that displays in the search results. That one's supposed to be on just a pure white background and showing the product. That being said, there are a lot of people that do it. I personally wouldn't recommend it, but if you want to try it, Splitly will let you do it. Like I said, it is against Amazon's terms of service, so I wouldn't recommend it. But that's why you may be asking it, because you may say, hey, I'm on Amazon, I see other people doing this. I think it's because it's not strictly enforced, but it is against their terms of service. And yeah, so just to kind of wrap things up here, if you're interested in trying Splitly, you want to get started with some A/B tests, we do have a 50% off discount for you that you can find at splitly.com/JS. So that would be your first month is half off. During that time, you can definitely run some good tests. From there, you should be able to find some improvements. So you're making more money each month. And kind of like what I talked about earlier, these small incremental improvements on Splitly really add up over time. So if you can increase your conversion or your sessions or your profits by say a few percent from a different main image, and then after that you run a new test and you run a pricing test, you increase it by a few more percent, over time these can really add up to be like a lot of money. Like I said, with my marshmallow sticks, it's going to be like $10,000 or $15,000 a year in extra profit from increasing my price from 1988 to 2188. So it's pretty incredible. Yeah, and then if you guys do have any more questions, feel free to reach out to us at hello@splitly.com. Of course, if you want to find out more about Splitly, you can look at the website. There's good information on the blog. In our free resources section on Splitly, there's a good free ebook, some split testing ideas, and so forth. So I'd recommend all you guys check it out. Yeah, any last words you want to leave everyone with, Andy? Anything I forgot?
I think you did a splendid job there, Greg. You covered pretty much everything.
All right, so thank you again for coming, guys. Like I said, be sure to check out Splitly, the blog, free resources, everything else. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the good questions. I hope you were able to learn some good stuff from this, and hopefully from it you're able to really optimize your Amazon listings. So yeah, see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.